At this point, if you're not Team Kamala, babe, just let me go. Just let me go. Unfriend me, block me. We don't need to know each other. Like, we don't need to know each other. Like, at this point, after seeing the DNC, after seeing that beautiful convention and the speeches and actually hearing Kamala speak, let me fix my language, our future Madam President speak, if she's not doing it for you right now, then therefore we have nothing to talk about. Don't invite me to your birthday. I won't invite you to mine. Don't follow me. Don't tweet me. Don't comment. Don't at me. We have nothing else to talk about because it tells me that you don't come from a place of like just common sense or being logical. And I just don't have any space or time or room for that in my life anymore. Welcome back. It's Keidra, your favorite journalist. If you couldn't guess by now, we're talking about the DNC. Kamala just, first of all, from the start to finish of the entire convention, I was just inspired. Obama's speech, Michelle's speech, Hillary's speech, the exonerated five. Like, it was just a beautiful, beautiful moment for America and for the culture. And just to see so many different groups of people, classes of people come together in support of this woman, becoming the first Black and South Asian president of the United States. It's just like mind-blowing to me. It was such a beautiful moment and heartfelt, and I had chills. Her husband, Doug, the way Doug spoke about her, like, anyway, we're gonna get into it. 5 things. I'm lying. It's probably not gonna be 5. I'm giving y'all the highlights of what Kamala spoke about in her DNC speech when she finally did address us, the people. She came out strong, talking about her family and where she comes from. You know, her mom is from India. Her dad is from Jamaica. They were both college students, met in graduate school. They were both all about civil rights and equal rights. Her mom actually came to find a cure for breast cancer. Her father was really big in economics and he was all about civil rights. Like, so it only kind of made sense that Kamala would be birthed from such a power couple. 2 very thoughtful minds. They were both very mindful, very demure, y'all see where I'm going with this. So it makes sense they would pop out a baby like Kamala. It just makes sense. So she talks about how they broke up. Her parents broke up when she was like around 6, 7, and her mom was the primary caretaker for her. But I read something by her dad, which was basically saying that he really did fight to have a bigger presence like in her life. But the way I think he actually fought for like custody. But the way that the judge was set up, they were like, no, like kids belong with their mom, which I don't disagree with. But it looks like they aren't the closest, but they do have a relationship, so that's good. She talked about how her mom taught her to, she also gave a really cute anecdote talking about her mom and her dad when she was younger. She was going to the playground and her mom was like, Kamala, stay close. And her dad was like, run, Kamala, like have fun, like be fearless. And I love that at her grown age, that stuck with her because that is such a beautiful sentiment. Like, tell your kids, stay close because I protect you. But then on the other side it's be fearful. Go for the goal. Like, just go for it, girl. I think that was just beautiful and just showed the essence and the spirit of which she was like raised. I feel like Kamala is just a girl that we all know. We all know that super ambitious Black woman. We all have a friend, or she's a part of our family, or we know a friend of a friend, just that super ambitious Black woman that just seems to have it all together and is just walks in a room and her presence is just felt. I feel like that's who Kamala is. We all know that girl. She definitely gives like the rich auntie vibes, like OD, like her being a prosecutor, being attorney general, like she just gives boss B. Y'all get where I'm going with this. One of the sayings that her mom told her when she was younger is, don't complain about injustices. Do something about it. And I love that. And she says that the reason that she decided to become a prosecutor, something that inspired her, was that when she was in high school, she noticed that her best friend was like kind of quiet when they were in school together. And she never wanted to go home. And she asked her, like, finally, like, girl, what's going on? And finally her friend divulged to her, like, things aren't on the up and up at home. Like, my stepdad is essaying me, like taking advantage of me. I'm using that language because I don't know what YouTube allows. So that's why I said it like that. But she was being taken advantage of by her stepfather. And Kamala says that put a battery in her back, and that inspired her to become a prosecutor. And she always wanted to be somebody who fought for the people, who fought to make life better. And how can you not admire that? Especially back in that time, like, SA in the household wasn't something that folks talked about. I feel like a lot of people grew up with the sentiment of, like, what goes on at home stays at home. You know, we come from kind of that rhetoric. So for her, one, to not only, it was beautiful that her friend even felt confident and comfortable enough to even divulge that information, number one. Number two, Kamala was like, oh my gosh, come stay with us, which was obviously beautiful in itself, offering a helping hand. And three, that inspired her career, and it made her always want to be someone that helped women and that helped people that were like in a bad way, you know? So how can you not just love that? Like, that's just what we need, right? As a community and as people. She also talks about how she was raised to be really big in community, and that's something that I really value. That's important to me as well. Just being a part of community. I think we live in a society now where everybody's like, oh, mind your business. But it's like, no, like, it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to raise all of us, to re-raise all of us. So that was a huge thing for me too, that she felt like that she was rooted in community, and again, spoke to why she wanted to become a prosecutor. What was another highlight? So, you know, Donald Trump, you know, your boy Donald, he actually is trying to lower taxes for the rich. And Kamala wants to introduce a middle-class tax cut, which will help, obviously, middle-class families. She wants to reinstate that whole idea of the middle class. So that's how she was raised, and she wants to really reinstate that and push that and offer them a tax cut. So I think that is obviously phenomenal, because how many of us are college graduates, or even if you're working like a job that involves like some type of trade, that's considered middle class. Why would we not want to tax? I'm talking about my bus drivers, police officers. This will probably, bus drivers, police officers, firefighters. If you went to school, if you were marketing and have a family, this tax cut applies to you. Donald Trump and his tax cuts were not applying to us regular folks. It was applying to people who are already rich. So keep that in mind too. That's another thing that she's trying to instate. She said that's one of the first things that she's looking forward to signing. She also wants to sign a bill to reinstate reproductive rights. We all know that Roe versus Wade was overturned thanks to the Supreme Court judges that Trump helped get into place. And she wants to obviously overturn that, obviously want women to have control over our own bodies. Wow, what a concept. What a concept. What a concept. To be able to have control over our own bodies. And while I'm not, you know, I don't love the idea of having to terminate a pregnancy. Unfortunately, we live in a society where things happen, and that is a big part of just being able to be a full person, being able to make decisions on your body and what you want to do for your body, because it's yours. The government should not have a right over the choices you make for your own body, and that's a period. And Kamala wants to reinstate that, so I love that she spoke about that, and she was very clear about it. She also wants to sign the bipartisan border bill. Now, this was something that already came up during Trump's reign, and he killed it. He was not about this at all, and she wants to reinstate it. I didn't really know too much about the bill specifically, but I just Googled it, and it basically said that it's the strongest border security legislation in decades, that reasserts control of the border, ends catch and release, enhances security, fixes the asylum system, and supports border communities. So, again, this is something that I'm in support of. And I just love that she was honest about it and that she came out and spoke about it, because we all are seeing, especially living in New York, we're seeing the effects of the migrants. We're seeing what it's looking like of folks just being dumped in New York City. And I feel like New York City is the worst city to be dumped in, because there just aren't as many opportunities here. There are opportunities. Let me take that back. There are opportunities here, but they don't pay. And it's expensive to live here. So to know that she has a plan for folks so that they're not just stuck up and crammed in hotels and just working dead-end jobs and having to live in inhumane living conditions, we stand. She plans on supporting Ukraine against Russia, as opposed to your boy Trump, who is all about whatever Putin wants to do. Whatever he wants to do, that's what Trump's down for, because we know that Trump wants the clout. And she was very outspoken and honest about the fact that she supports Ukraine against Russia. And last but not least, she called for a ceasefire. And I think that's all we can do at this point. As far as I'm concerned, this whole fight with Israel and the land and everything has been going on since I was in Sunday school, child. And I haven't been in Sunday school in a very long time. And they're still fighting over this same land and have these same issues. And I know it was going on way before I was in Sunday school. And these stories, it just goes back, obviously, so far. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know too much about the situation. So I'm the person that, if I'm not very well versed in a situation, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to give my opinion on it. I have to do some research and really educate myself. That's just how I am. But the one thing I can say and can't stand on is that I definitely agree with the ceasefire. I don't agree with either country losing so many innocent children and people. So at the end of the day, I appreciate that she spoke on it. She may have not given the answer that everybody wanted, but I think the key takeaway from that is that she said ceasefire. She does not want any more fighting to go on, and that she supports both. She supports Israel and she supports Gaza. And I think she does not support Hamas, obviously, but that's, what else do you want her to say? As like, let's be honest, like, what do you really expect her to say? She can't pick one side or the other as being the president of the United States. She just can't. The upcoming president, rather, because she will become president. She just can't go ahead and pick one side. The best that we can get from her is her acknowledging the trauma and the tragedies on both ends, and saying that she wants it to end. That's all she can give us. She can't say pro-Israel without saying pro-Gaza. She just cannot do that. So we have to accept that. And I'm grateful that she even accepted it, because Trump is just one-sided on everything. So I appreciate the fact that she kind of gave us both sides and she spoke from her heart. But just to see the support behind her, the Obamas behind her, no one is taking legal action against Kamala for using their music. Unlike with Trump, everyone's taking legal action against him. Even folks from his own party are going against him. So what does that tell you? These are folks that have access to things behind the scenes. I'm going to continue to watch this election. I'm so excited. I cannot wait for the first Black female president of the United States. I'm so excited, y'all. Like, my heart is just bursting. Our ancestors, like, I just think about what this means for us as a people and for a country. And I also love that her message is not divided. She's like, she's everyone's president. Everyone's president in the country she represents across race, gender, creed. I love that for us also. And I think that is how she will win. Unfortunately, if she's too one side of anything, unlike Trump, he was very one-sided, but he's able to win because of his privilege. He can do that. But for her, she can't be very one-sided. She has to be equal opportunity, and she should be open to everyone. And that's how she's going to get into the office, and that's how she's going to make it. And I'm just excited for our future, and I just can't wait to have her in the office. And again, if you're not Team Kamala at this point right now, I love honest conversation. I love being challenged. I'm a Gemini. I love new information. And new important information will 100% make me change my mind. But when it comes to this girl, when it comes to this woman, there's a right and wrong clause. And if you have a conscience and if you have common sense, you know that Kamala is right and Trump is wrong. That's just where we're at with it at this point. So thank y'all so much for watching. I love you. Again, it's Keisha, your favorite journalist, and Team Kamala over here, y'all. Head to the polls in November.